Good evening and welcome to another episode of Unscripted and Unchained RPG Review. I am DM Bluddworth, and as you can see by the graphics, tonight's video is going to be a combination mail call and channel news update. This will be channel news update number 60. These don't tend to be very frequent or on a set kind of frequency for them. They just happen when I feel that it's a good time to give you a little update on the channel and what's going on. What are some of my my goals going forward for the next week or so, to just give you heads up, and usually prompted by getting requests or items in the mail. And so I kind of combined up the channel news update with what I used to do was the mail call videos. So without further ado, let's talk about mail call first. So a couple weeks ago, about 2 weeks ago, I was contacted by a content creator, Michael Stasis, and he asked me to do a review of Tables for One, which is a solo Game Master's reference sheet. So it ends up being an 8-panel, I believe, an 8-panel GM screen and a solo GM screen, and started taking a look at it really quickly, and I want to give it full coverage. Because what I've seen so far, I see a lot of practical uses with this, and so I certainly encourage you to look out for it. And once it is fully available out there, I will then hopefully return with that full review of it, and at the same time provide you with the links where you can also get your hands on it. But at first glance, it looks pretty cool. Certainly practical, like I said. So that was the first thing in the mail that it's technically mail that I got a short time ago, and just getting caught up. And I sent out an email to Michael, and I was like, hey, you know what? Sorry, it's been such a delay. But I'm certainly going to get to this probably by tomorrow. I'll probably run that walkthrough of it tomorrow. I also received in the mail today Castles and Crusades, the Adventurer's Backpack. So I got both the PDF of this plus the hardcover. And so now when I go through this book and show you this book, I'll have the PDF to actually show you as I'm reviewing it and going through it. But basically, what it is it's not just a series of different backpack configurations that you have based on class and specialty areas, or specialty like professional areas and such, but it also includes additional spells and additional systems and such. A lot of subclasses are also introduced in this as well. So it really becomes the Unearthed Arcana equivalent for Castles and Crusades. And so I'm really looking forward to doing that as well. Probably cover that sometime in the next month, let's say, because I am still working my way through the Castle Keeper's Guide, and I've only left off with, I believe, chapter 4. So I still have quite a ways to go going through the Castle Keeper's Guide before I actually get around to this. All right, so that is the mail call portion of this video. So coming up, channel news. So since update number 59, the channel has grown by 250 or so subscribers. So that's going back to nearly the end of April. So over the past 5 months, it's been averaging about 50 new subs a month. I'm very happy with that growth. I'm fine with that growth. But I also noticed that a lot of my viewers still haven't subscribed. So, I encourage you to subscribe. That way you get updates when I'm coming up with new videos, and if it's an element of, you know, what else can I do in order to earn your subscription, please feel free to put that in the comments and say, hey, you know what? If you focused on this, I would be more inclined to subscribe, or, you know, or just on the opposite end of that, you say, well, you know, I'm just passing through. I have no, you know, real interest. I was interested enough to watch your video, but it's not the kind of content that I'm looking for. But then tell me what kind of content you are looking for, as long as it falls within role playing. You know, it's not tabletop RPG review, even though I focus mostly on that. It's role play game review. So if you have computer games that you want me to take a look at, you know, if it's on Steam or some other you know, service where I can easily get a copy of it, then let me know about that. So I know, like I said, it's been very, very focused on the tabletop RPG, but my interests in RPGs are broad. So anything goes as far as what you can direct my attention to. So 250 subscribers, you know, since late April. I know that the system tells me it's been 5 months, and you know, so I'm again happy with that. At that continued growth, I can probably expect to hit maybe 3,000 subs, which would be incredible, sometime next year. And so I'm happy about, you know, where it's going, and I'm happy about the content that I have had become available to me, as well as your comments and questions and overall subscribership. So I'm really, really thankful for those of you that have been on. I really do welcome those that are coming through, and you know, thank you so much for at least giving the channel a chance and looking through my content. And like I said, hopefully you'll consider subscribing. So I wanted to go over some of the things in that line to show you some of the videos that I've done over these past, you know, 50 or so videos, just so you can get a sense of what I've been lately focusing on, but also the variety that you can get from this channel. So I am going to switch views very quickly, and so here we have my channel. As you can see, it's 2240 plus. It's going to click to 2250 probably any day now. So I have been focusing on the Castle Keeper's Guide of Castles and Crusades, and that has been quite a few videos that I've spent that time on. I'm currently going through the section chapter 4, which is on NPCs. I think that's a really important thing to focus on with NPCs. I put in a video in between where I talked about some of my writing projects going back to 2011. And the first one actually is connected to an MMO. It's connected to Star Wars The Old Republic MMO that came out probably close to a decade ago. And I was just focused, or probably around 2011, yeah, a decade ago. And so I did a little thing on that. Continuing through, so a lot of Castles and Crusades lately. I did start doing shorts. Never done shorts before. And so I've been focusing on just doing these little 15-second blurbs on cover art. And OSR cover art in particular, because one of the focuses of my channel is really to promote the OSR in tabletop gaming. And I've been looking at you know, various cover art, just focusing on the covers of some of the booklets and pamphlet sized OSR games that I do have. Now, I included the cover art of the original D&D books, because I consider them to be old school role-playing or old school revival, and so that's why I consider them to be OSR. and not just the original D&D. Moving on, I did something on the Age of Conan, which was an adaptation from Modiphius, and again another connection to an MMO. The Age of Conan is an MMO that Modiphius did a source book for, and so that is there as well. I attended ShireCon back in September, mid-September, and had some really cool gaming experiences, met a lot of interesting people, and I will certainly be attending ShireCon next year as well, especially since it was so local. I do videos on DM tips, and the last one I spoke to was, things that a DM should never ask their players to do, or a question they should never ask their players. I did a video on Space Commander War and Trade computer RPG. I wasn't incredibly fond of this game to begin with, so and that's a lot of where the Unscripted and Unchained comes from. When I show you a video, especially a video game, it is oftentimes the very first time that I'm viewing it as well, or trying it out as well, and so you're going to see my experience when I'm first looking at it. And that was really the premise of this channel, was to be unscripted and unchained. You're going to see an unscripted, unvarnished view of what I'm looking at. Continuing on, a discussion here. So this was a live stream where I spoke about the importance of 2024, the anniversary year of not just Dungeons and Dragons, but really the pastime of tabletop role playing, and so spoke a little bit about it there. And this was again a live stream. I tend to do live streams, and I will be talking about this upcoming live stream. I tend to do live streams, or at least I look to, on Wednesday mornings from 11:30 to about 1 o'clock. So I'm going to pick up that this Wednesday as well, and I'm going to actually create it and have it posted and ready to roll for Wednesday morning, so that you'll have advanced heads up on that. Let's see, I go all the way to, this is technically a mail call. I finally got the Dangerous Journeys Mythos Bestiary by Gary Gygax, so I finally got a copy of this here. I did a demo of Luftwaffe, a solo play demo, an Avalon tabletop war game, technically, board game, if you want to call it that. Had a lot of fun doing that, actually, and I will probably return to that and play that some more as I try to work out a real solo play for that. Going back, we go to some more live streams, back to Castles and Crusades. Call of Cthulhu classic 2-inch box set opening. So again, another blast from the past. Call of Cthulhu 2nd edition. That was the edition that I began playing Call of Cthulhu. And so again, you're seeing this great variety that you can get from my channel. Almost everything is either old school, or it's modern video games, and some up-to-date modern role-playing games such as Castles and Crusades as well. So it is a very good mix of everything. I throw back to a Mythrog supplement that came out by a new author that he hadn't produced anything prior to this, so definitely jumped in on that. I did the role play, the RPG a Day 2022. I believe this is like the 4th year that I've participated in that, and it kind of petered out on me, and I believe I stopped around day 15. So I just don't have it in me to keep on pushing these things unless they're really, really important prompt then I might focus on them to that extent. But I just had a hard time getting through them. Or I started doing weeks of them, so I would cover the entire week worth. So maybe I didn't stop at 15th. I might have gone through the 21st, but I still lost interest in doing it. Chalt, Chartreuse Shadows. So Chalt had come out with its third volume of the Adventure Satanis's world setting and game system supplement, because he includes his game system in there as well. And continuing forward, the Red Room's Sexual Holocaust is another video that I did, and I don't shy away from controversial issues, but I also don't talk about, I don't include politics that are outside of gaming, and so I don't like to really get into the culture war unless it's something that I see that is directed at impacting the game or impacting the hobby in which we're all participating. And that will actually be a very good segue for upcoming content. So I have a live stream coming up on Wednesday, and that Wednesday's live stream is going to be entitled "The OSR is alive and well." Basically, because there has been at least one very controversial posing of the or claim that the OSR is dying, and it's dying from within, and it's utter nonsense. And so I'm going to open it up. I haven't spoken about that directly on that individual's channel, because number one, it would be useless for me to do so, and number two, I don't want to draw any attention to it in that sense. What I'd rather do is counter it with facts and details, and show that this is what the OSR is currently doing, and here are all the positive things that are coming out of the OSR. And I've been doing those videos all along anyway. Every time that I'm showing you something on my channel, it is a promotion of basically either old school role-playing games, old school revival of playing the older edition of games, and not just Dungeons and Dragons, but any game made prior to 1990 is what I consider to be old school, and I consider to be OSR. So it could be RuneQuest, or it could be Bushido, or it could be Dungeons and Dragons, or it could be Twilight 2000, or TSR's Conan role-playing game, or Traveler. Any of those games I consider to be old school because they're over 30 years old. And again, I don't think that the OSR should be hyper-focused on just Dungeons and Dragons. That it should be open to discussing all ventures out there, and that includes old school computer role-playing games as well. We could certainly get into that, and that's something I haven't really done as much as I would like to on the channel, and so maybe that's something that I will focus on a little bit. Like I haven't done any of the older PlayStation role-playing games that I used to love and run through them. So maybe I will focus a little bit on those. It's kind of hard sometimes to find those that work really well on Steam, but I think I do have a few, and I will be bringing up some of those as well in the upcoming time. So that is what the focus of Wednesday's live stream is going to be, is to talk about the OSR in a positive way, and to demonstrate that through showing some of the things that have come out, over these last couple of years, to show that it is alive and well, it is running strong, and and just having a few toxic detractors within the hobby itself or within the OSR is not going to overshadow the the vast majority of positive experiences with the OSR that I think most people are engaged with and experiencing themselves. So you can look at any broad hobby or something and point out these individuals that are just bad players. And some of the attackers on the OSR are bad players themselves. I mean, because they're coming in with the sole purpose of attacking something that they're not a part of, don't really have an understanding for. But I will get more into that in the live stream coming up. Other things upcoming. So I have Tuesdays now. I'm running 2 game sessions on Tuesdays. So Tuesday mornings from 11:30 to roughly 3 o'clock, I am going to be running my Castles and Crusades campaign. So we did a session 0 last week, and we're going to start the first adventure starting on Tuesday. I'm not sure if I'm going to live stream the adventure or as we're going through the play session, or record it and then and then put it out there for later usage. We're going to see how it comes together for the first couple of episodes, and then I'll decide later on with my players' consent, basically, if they want this thing to be done as a live stream. Now, this is not going to be a Critical Role-esque kind of thing. This is just going to be a bunch of people sitting there on StreamYards playing a game and utilizing some virtual tabletop for dice rolling and other stat tracking and things like that. But like I said, I'm not sure how it will be presented and what programs are going to be used for it. So that's all up in the air right now. So that's my morning game. And then my evening game is we're going into session 61 of our AD&D First Edition campaign. So 61 weeks of gameplay, and the players are virtually through the adventure module that they're in, and we'll see how it goes. They're coming up on a pretty important section of the adventure module, and then we'll see what direction they go in to see if it's going to be expanded beyond that point, or if it's going to come to a good conclusion where they can then move on from it, depending on the fact that they're successful in doing what they're looking to do. So I'm not going to tip them off because I know that they'll probably watch this video beforehand, but it is an important session coming up, so I will let them know that there will be some very important decisions where they might be able to branch off into several possible directions going from there. And then there is always the expected mail calls coming up over the next couple of weeks. I'm expecting some things from well, I just drew a blank. I'm expecting a few things. I think I should be getting, although this might not be until November, Hyperborea, 3rd edition. So looking forward to getting that. I got the foil cover, so the deluxe edition of it, and so really looking forward to getting the physical copy of that so I can do something along those lines. I'm also expecting Mothership, the box set. that should be coming very soon as well. So there's going to be a lot of material for me to talk about over these next couple of weeks and possibly even months. And we're just really looking forward to presenting all of that to you. So, and as always, if you have any, if you're leaving questions or comments, you want me to look at anything in particular, feel free to just drop a line on any of the videos that I have on there. But particularly these ones are a perfect spot for you to say, hey, you know what? I have a game, that I'm working on. I'd like for you to take a look at it. How do I get in touch with you? And then we can usually set up something where you can reach out to me on Facebook, where I have Messenger, and then we can share email addresses and take care of it that way. And otherwise, you could say, hey, you know what? I saw one of your review videos, and there was something I'd like for you to focus a little bit more on, or help clarify it for me. And then I'll certainly do that as well. I go back and take a look at the game that I had already covered and dig a little deeper if necessary to help clarify any points. So, as always, thank you so much for coming in. I hope you liked this video. Again, if you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. Let's keep that, keep that number rising. And the more the algorithm picks up on the channel, the more it will be spread out there, which means the more people that will come in, leave comments, and it really does just help grow the channel based on what viewers are looking for, because I do try to be very responsive to your comments and your requests and such, and the more people coming in is just going to increase the amount of things that I'm going to take a look at and then bring to you as far as it being either a review or just simply a discussion. So again, thanks for joining, and have a great upcoming week. I look forward to seeing you on the gaming screen sometime soon, and look for some new content. Like I said, tomorrow, Tuesday, and Wednesday, there will be content pretty much steadily through. I might do a recap of my gaming on Tuesday, on Thursday, and then Friday, probably setting up something for that week. So plan on seeing some more shorts as well. I have to go and start busting out. I've been trying to reorganize everything behind me, and I have a new smaller bookshelf that I'm trying to repurpose and utilize so that I can have more of my gaming materials behind me more easily accessible. So anyway, thanks for joining. Have a great evening. Take care.